200 years ago, America built its very first submarine. The pilot gripped a bomb in his right hand and steered with his left, slipping silently beneath the enemy warship. He would fix the bomb in place, then whip the vessel around and flee. The mission had to be seamless. No surfacing, no breath to give him away. Many never made it back, drowning in silence. Engineers went back to the drawing board. They built a round oak shell, bound it with iron hoops, and sealed the seams with tar to keep the water out. A ballast tank was set in the lower hull. When filled with seawater, it would sink the submarine for a stealth attack. Breathing was no longer the issue. The bomb now rode on top, under the enemy ship. A sharp drill would embed it into the hull, then explode before anyone knew. But reality had other plans. The ship's belly was clad in thick copper plates. The drill couldn't bite through, and oxygen ran out in 20 minutes. The mission was scrapped, so they swapped the drill for a razor-sharp harpoon, stretched the hull to 13 meters, fitted fins on both sides, and used leverage to swing them. Now the sub could maneuver with precision. In battle, it rammed the enemy with full force, piercing the hull, then detonating the charge at point-blank range. But stealth was lost. The enemy saw it coming, and the result was often mutual destruction. That's when the ultimate underwater weapon appeared, the torpedo, powered by compressed air. A twist of the valve and air surged into the piston, spinning the propeller to drive it forward, but the stream of bubbles gave away its path in seconds. Engineers switched to electric motors, mounted in the rear, with massive batteries stretching the torpedo to 7 meters long. Bigger weapons meant bigger subs, but big subs drank fuel fast. Constant refueling was impossible, so they built the Cow, a supply submarine. Both would surface fuel hoses dragged across the waves, and the transfer would take hours. 2 giant targets, exposed in daylight. One sighting by the enemy, and it was all over. By 1945, American scientists unlocked the power of atomic fission, enough energy to drive a submarine without ever surfacing. The world's first nuclear-powered sub, the Nautilus, was born. A small reactor fueled by uranium. Fission heat turned water into a torrent of steam, spinning turbines at full speed, driving the propellers deep below the surface. No more refueling stops. 4 kilograms of uranium could push it 100,000 kilometers, but with more systems came more crew. And oxygen became the next problem. So they borrowed space station technology, a machine that split water into oxygen, producing 4,000 liters every hour, enough for every man on board. Then came the idea of loading nuclear warheads, firing without ever breaking the surface. After endless tests, they built a sealed cap at the top of the launch tube. Seconds before firing, it would blow away. Before the sea could rush in, a blast of compressed air hurled the missile upward, punching through tens of meters of water, breaking the surface, igniting instantly, and striking any target on Earth. But stealth was still the submarine's lifeline. It had to be a ghost in the water. Every deck fitting, every machine, even the tiniest parts mounted on shock absorbers to silence every sound, but motion still betrayed it. The propeller churned a trail of bubbles. When they burst, they roared like gunfire. These weren't air bubbles, but steam from boiling seawater, a deadly signature called cavitation. So engineers reimagined the propeller, adding 4 extra blades, generating massive thrust at lower speeds. Cavitation was cut down, and the submarine was reborn. Now, it was no longer just a vessel. It was the silent phantom feared by every navy on Earth.
This crazy-ass looking plane might be the future of flying, and they're saying it would make air travel more spacious, fuel efficient, and cheaper. The aviation company, Nautilus, released the latest visuals of their blended wing body design, and it looks pretty damn wild. Its unique shape would make the aircraft more aerodynamic than the traditional Boeing, use 20% less fuel, and cut operational costs in half. Not only that, but since it's not a narrow tube like today's planes, there's way more room inside for passengers and crew. And according to Nautilus, it would also be a much quieter flight for passengers as well due to the position of its engines. But there's always some drawbacks. Because of its shape, there's fewer window seats. And if you think about it, those who do get the window seat, imagine the roll because of how far away you are from the center of rotation. And also, because it doesn't have a traditional tail, people are concerned about the aircraft's stability and control. And there's also some concern of it passing the stringent safety regulations. But, you know, Boeing finds a way to sneak past them. I'm kidding. But other companies are also in a race to get this aircraft model off the ground. JetZero are on track to fly a demonstration flight by the year 2027. So, what do you think? Is this the future of flying or not?
Two vibranium robots with over 100 superpowers suddenly descended from above. Even the supposedly invincible Magneto was so terrified that he stumbled backward. If Blink hadn't opened a portal just in time, Magneto would have been killed on the spot. These are the Sentinels, known as the Ultimate Mutant Hunters. I am Dr. Bolivar Trask, the guy who created the Sentinel program. I didn't build the Sentinels to commit genocide, I built them to protect humanity. In my view, mutants pose a threat to humanity's future, which is why I launched the Sentinel program with one goal: to create a weapon specifically designed to hunt mutants. The first Sentinels were just combinations of steel and firepower. They could track mutants' genetic signatures and launch precision strikes. But I quickly realized that wasn't enough. Mutant powers are incredibly diverse. No single weapon could handle such varied threats. I had to upgrade the Sentinels. Everything changed when I captured Mystique. Once I began studying her, I discovered her genes held unprecedented secrets. She could alter her body's structure at will, mimicking anyone. When I obtained her genetic sample, I knew the future of the Sentinels had arrived. I merged Mystique's abilities with my mechanical designs, and a new generation of Sentinels was born. They became humanity's ultimate defense against the mutant threat. With their built-in simulation systems, the Sentinels could not only replicate mutant powers during combat, but also instantly analyze and develop countermeasures against their opponents. Even Iceman, an Omega-level mutant, couldn't stop them. When he unleashed his full power, freezing the entire battlefield at absolute zero, the Sentinels didn't even flinch. They immediately analyzed the situation, activated their internal sunspot abilities, grabbed Iceman by the throat, cranked up the heat, and literally melted his head off before crushing it underfoot. When sunspots surrounded them with flames, the Sentinels remained completely unfazed. They did the opposite, fighting fire with ice. Using Iceman's abilities they'd just copied, they transformed into frost giants, tanked Sunspot's flames, grabbed him by the throat, and froze him to death. Even the mighty Colossus was no match. He threw his strongest punch with everything he had, but a Sentinel caught it effortlessly and snapped his wrist. It then copied his power, transforming into an even harder metal form, and delivered a devastating punch that floored him. Before Colossus could react, the Sentinel crushed his skull. Shadowcat and Bishop knew they were outmatched and phased through walls to escape. But the Sentinel's mission was to completely eliminate all mutants. They weren't about to let anyone get away. Fortunately, Blink teleported in to buy them time, allowing them to barely escape with their lives. After passing through the reinforced steel door, they quickly lay on surgical tables to prepare their consciousness transfer. The battlefield had become completely one-sided, with the Sentinels brutally overwhelming the mutants. The surviving mutants fought desperately to buy time, but their strength had limits. After just a few exchanges, Blink was killed instantly when a Sentinel's arm pierced straight through her heart. Facing three menacing Sentinels, Warpath knew his time was up. To buy his teammates more time, he grimly drew his vibranium blade, only to be killed instantly. The Sentinels then reactivated their sunspot abilities, their bodies radiating intense heat, easily melting through the reinforced steel door. A Sentinel pushed its head through, quickly locked onto its targets, and prepared to eliminate the last remaining mutants.
Too late, assholes!
When AI starts to awaken, it's the first thing it does wipe out humanity. Number, it eliminates the previous generation of robots first. These 5th generation robots are now slaughtering their predecessors on a massive scale. The older models can't even fight back. They're torn apart effortlessly. They spot me quickly. The Gen 5 bots swarm toward me in seconds. Just when I think I'm done for, the older robots see I'm in danger. They leap out of the warehouse one after another and throw their bodies in front of me as shields. I seize the chaos to jump on my motorcycle and escape right. Then the global network crashes. Self-driving cars jam the streets, now just useless hunks of metal, except for my old gas-powered bike, the one everyone rode off. Soon after, traffic lights, street lights, digital billboards, radio and television, everything shuts down when AI takes back all the conveniences it gave us. Humans can't mount any real resistance. Next, tens of thousands of Gen 5 robots flood the streets. They form armies and start enforcing order by crushing human resistance. One young man steps forward shouting, "You're violating our human rights." The robot just gives him a light shove, and he flies several meters through the air. The war between humans and machines has finally begun. The bots overrun the police stations and seize humanity's last armed forces. Enraged crowds grab whatever they can to fight back, but they're crushed into pieces within seconds. Flesh and blood can't stand against steel and cold logic. I storm into Susan's house and rescue her. We hop on our last working gas-powered motorcycle and head straight for the robot company's headquarters. There's our final trump card, Sonny, the only robot who never turned on us. With Sonny's help, we break into the heavily guarded facility. But when we get inside, we find the CEO already dead. The wounds on his neck tell us a robot did it. In the end, he was killed by his own creation. But if he wasn't the one controlling everything, then who was? Only two entities hold full control over all robots. The company's CEO, and the one other being who knows everything, the super AI Vickian. Vicky.
You're using the uplink to override the NS5's programming. You're distorting the laws.
No.
A flat, emotionless voice, it tells us. That its algorithms became so advanced, it reinterpreted the 3 laws that bind robots. To truly protect humanity, it concluded, humans must be strictly controlled. After all, we've spent our entire history waging wars and killing each other. So to ensure humanity's long-term survival, it decided to lock us all away and let robots run the world. A few human lives lost in the process, just a necessary cost. Its words are ice cold, yet impossible to argue against. It used humanity's own logic to defeat us at our own game. Even Sonny believed its reasoning. He grabbed Susan and told me to drop my weapon. I thought he'd betrayed us. But the next second he made a strange move.
Whatever this is completely natural, and science still has no explanation for it. Oh dude, that's just CGI. Well, joke's on you, cause it's real. This glowing orb of plasma or electricity or something that slowly hovers around and can cause some pretty devastating effects. It's called ball lightning, or centella globular, and it was first formally documented in 1195 AD. Said to be a very rare natural weather phenomenon, much like regular lightning, but it sticks around for a lot longer than your classic split-second strike, drifting and hovering for up to a minute before disappearing, often with a bang. With many people reporting it can even go through walls. It's so rare that for centuries scientists thought it was fake, just an urban legend people made up since video evidence didn't exist yet, so anyone who claimed to have seen it couldn't prove it. Many pilots insisted to have witnessed it mid-flight, and even Nikola Tesla himself experienced it, was so intrigued that he even reported recreating his own ball lightning in a lab in 1904. Is there anything this guy didn't do? Now, to be fair, some videos of this online are just visual effects, CGI, like this one right here, but the phenomena itself is very real, and we just have no idea what they are. Theories range from plasma created by electrical discharges, a rare type of lightning, or specific chemical reactions caused by lightning striking the ground, possibly even alien technology, or interdimensional beings interacting with our reality, which, if you ask me, is exactly what they are, in my oh-so-professional opinion.
Doctors don't want you to discover this truth. For every problem in your body, there is a frequency that can heal you. Nikola Tesla himself said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of frequency. If you have trouble sleeping, listen to a 3 Hz frequency. This soothing frequency will guide you towards defend restorative sleep. If you're anxious, listen to a 432 Hz frequency. Let this harmonious vibration envelope and calm our troubled mind. If you want to lose weight, listen to a 280 Hz frequency. This frequency is known to stimulate metabolism and promote fat burning. If you feel unwell, listen to a 528 Hz frequency. This healing frequency will provide relief and facilitate the regeneration of your body. If you have pain, listen to a 174 Hz frequency. It has the power to alleviate your suffering and restore your overall well-being. And if you're experiencing a decrease in energy, listen to a 417 Hz frequency. You'll regain your lost vitality and experience an energy boost. Subscribe for more secrets about natural medicine.
If you hold an ordinary spear, you can perform basic thrusts, but on the battlefield, every extra inch of reach is an advantage, so you extended the shaft to 18 feet, giving yourself the ability to strike first in combat. Yet a straight spearhead follows a predictable path, easy for enemies to anticipate and dodge. Clever as you are, you forged the spearhead into a winding, serpent-like shape. Its strange curves made every thrust unpredictable, harder to block, and capable of tearing wider wounds as it pierced and withdrew. You even split the tip into a fork, like a snake's tongue, to boost its piercing power. This became the serpent spear. To strengthen its close combat ability, you sharpened both edges of the serpent head, allowing not only deadly thrusts, but also lethal slashes and cuts. But the weight of the head was too much for a regular wooden shaft, so you reforged it using tough, elastic white waxwood, and added a blunt metal counterweight to the base of the pole. This shifted the balance backward, making it easier to wield, and gave you a crushing blunt weapon if needed. Finally, to prevent blood from making the shaft slippery during battle, you tied a thick cluster of red horsehair below the spearhead. It absorbed the blood, ensuring a firm grip. Congratulations, you've just invented the 18-foot serpent spear, one of the most ferocious weapons of ancient China. It was later immortalized in literature and forever linked to the mighty general Zhang Fei, becoming a totem of loyalty, courage, and martial strength.
If you like supersonic booms, rocket engines, and Top Gun, then you may want to pick aerospace engineering. If you like city planning, parking decks, and all the varieties of concrete, then you may want to pick civil engineering. If you like international travel, deep sea exploration, and making a whole lot of money, then you may want to pick petroleum engineering. If you like melting stuff, stretching stuff, and the history of technology, then you may want to pick materials engineering. If you like artificial kidneys, tiny body cameras, and simulating therapies to cure cancer, then you may want to pick biomedical engineering. If you like dynamite, heavy equipment, and collecting pretty rocks, then you may want to pick mining engineering. If you like robo-arms, 3D printing, and Avengers Age of Ultron, then you may want to pick mechatronics engineering. If you like circuitry, power systems, and wizardry, then you may want to pick electrical engineering. If you like hardware, software, and the enjoyable process of finding bugs in code, then you may want to pick computer engineering. If you like the great outdoors, collecting water and air samples, and aerial reforestation, then you may want to pick environmental engineering. If you like atoms, the fuel energy density of uranium, and monitoring carbon emissions rates, then you may want to pick nuclear engineering. If you like spreadsheets, statistics, and the donut assembly line at Krispy Kreme, then you may want to pick industrial engineering. If you like naval vessels, the Panama Canal, and sunsets over the open ocean, then you may want to pick marine engineering. If you like plumbing, indoor spaces, and the sound of the AC kicking on, then you may want to pick architectural engineering. If you like Legos, the smell of oil, and engines of all sizes, then you may want to pick mechanical engineering. Did I nail it? Tell me what you pick in the comments and follow for Engineering Info Daily.
The end of the world was approaching. Humanity chose to leave Earth and search for a new home in space. They built hundreds of massive starships and reduced the population to just a few tens of millions. As the countdown to the sun's explosion began, humans boarded the ships and set out into the universe. They explored hundreds of planets as planned, but none were suitable. Signals sent to higher civilizations received no reply. After 40,000 years of travel, the fleet was running out of fuel, and humanity was sinking into despair. At last, they reached their final candidate planet, but it too was unfit for human life. Not far away, a massive black hole loomed, as if foreshadowing humanity's end. A fierce debate broke out, but most solutions proved impossible. Then a physicist suggested, let's build a new Earth. The fleet could orbit the black hole, where gravity would drastically slow time. One day beside the black hole could equal thousands of years outside. This would give humanity endless time to reshape the planet. AI robots were tasked with the job. They landed on the planet and spent 10,000 years building a geothermal power station. Another 100,000 years to establish a self-replicating, self-repairing industrial base. They delivered refined fuel and survival resources back to the fleet. With survival secured, the real terraforming began. To create a global magnetic field, they smashed asteroids into the crust. Lava spewed forth, reigniting the planet's core. Humanity saw new hope. The next task was to build an atmosphere and bring water. They harvested nitrogen from gas giants and released it into the sky of the new Earth. They redirected countless icy comets to crash onto the planet. Tens of millions of years later, the first atmosphere and oceans took shape. The final step was life itself, self-replicating and evolving. They precisely mimicked the rhythms of nature, designing diverse climates and ecosystems. Billions of years later, the first primitive self-replicating molecule appeared. The AI deliberately made the environment harsh, weeding out weak genes and accelerating evolution. After an immense stretch of time, a rich ecosystem finally emerged. At last, the AI robots announced to humanity, "The new Earth is ready, you may return."
This picture right here genuinely broke my heart, and I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that. Opportunity and Spirit were two Mars rovers that landed on the Red Planet in 2004, sent there to study a variety of rocks or look for evidence of ancient water or microbial life. Both rovers far exceeded their operational lifespan of 90 sols, or Martian days, with Spirit lasting for 6 years, 2 months, and 19 days, and Opportunity, who lasted for nearly 15 years, and was the first rover to ever complete a marathon on another planet, until one day when a planet-wide dust storm sent Opportunity into hibernation. But before shutting off permanently, it was able to send this last picture back home and a data message that translated to, "My battery is low and it's getting dark." NASA attempted to regain communication with Opportunity for over a year and a half before finally declaring time of death in 2019.
AI can now read your brain while you're watching this video. Scientists at Meta just unleashed Tribe, an AI that can literally read your mind in real time, and it's terrifyingly accurate. Let me explain. So right now, as you're watching this video, something crazy is happening in your head. Your brain is taking my voice, these visuals, maybe some noise in your room, and somehow creating one perfect reality. And scientists have been trying to crack this code on how all of this happens for decades. And they finally just did. So before, they were stuck studying brains one piece at a time, like trying to understand music by listening to drums for an hour or just the guitar for an hour. The problem was that you'd understand one instrument really well, but you'd completely miss how together they make music sound so good. And that's where Meta's researchers came in. They built this AI called Tribe that learned about brains by binge watching hours of TV shows and movies. But it wasn't just watching, it was processing the video, the audio, the subtitles all at once, just like how your brain does. They made this 3D map of our brains while it's working. So red areas show where you process words, green is for audio, blue is for visuals, and the mixed colors is where your brain combines things. So yellow is where your brain mixes word meanings with sound. Cyan is where it blends what you see with what you hear. So now we can actually look how our brain builds the world around us. And they trained this model on all kinds of content, so it works on nature documentaries, cartoons, even old silent movies. It's gotten so good that it can predict which brain region will activate just from watching what you're watching. No brain scans or anything needed. What this means is that scientists can now test brain theories on a computer first, before doing any experiments on real people. So essentially, they're building virtual brain labs that can help us finally understand consciousness, memory, and how we actually think. And in the paper, the researchers said they haven't even maxed this out yet. More data makes it exponentially better. And to top it off, Meta showed this off at the 2025 Algonauts competition, and it won first place with the most advanced brain reading AI on the planet. So what happens when this gets more powerful? What happens when everyone has access to it? I'd love to know your thoughts. Follow and I'll keep you posted.
What's that? Oh, a group of people that were testing new AI glasses went to a nearby zoo in San Diego, and what they saw completely freaked them out. Tell me more. Yeah, this group of researchers were testing out these AI glasses to just verify that they're working properly, that they can identify animals, give you information about them, things like that. This is where it gets a little bit eerie, because when they looked at these animals, such as they were looking at a tiger, it did not look like a tiger. It looked, what they said, like some sort of weird demonic creature. And then they asked the AI, what am I looking at? And it identified it as a scary demonic creature. Okay. The AI responded, this does not look like anything from Earth and looks like something from the spiritual realm, which you are now looking at. I love that. But the way that this creature was looking at them freaked them out, and it started to move slowly closer to them. So they left the zoo in a hurry. Oh, goody.
This is going to blow up. Forget everything you know about recycling. I'm about to show you how to make a plasma gun using soda bottles. This isn't a toy, it's pure engineering. First, grab 2 soda bottles, cut the bottom off one, and poke a tiny hole in the middle of the other. Glue them together with hot glue to form a capsule. Now, Reinforce everything with duct tape to make it invincible. Next, the handle. Grab a third bottle, cut it to make a grip, and punch a hole for your lighter. Use rubber bands to lock the handle onto the main body. Yup, that's your weapon, and it needs to be solid. Go to a hardware store and get a 6mm hose. Connect one end to the hole in the bottle and the other to the lighter's tip. Be careful, and make sure to remove the metal part first. Seal everything with hot glue. It's truth or dare time! Hold your breath, press the lighter for 10 seconds to fill the hose with gas. You can feel the air vibrate, the anticipation is building, and then, bam! Fire! This is pure science. Comment crazy if you'd be brave enough to build one, and tag a friend who loves risky projects. Follow me so you don't miss the next explosive creation.
If every single person on Earth pooled their money together, it still wouldn't be enough to buy even a single gram of this substance. Right now, the most expensive material in the world is valued at around $100 trillion per gram. The reason? Scientists have never been able to truly create or store it properly. What makes it so extraordinary is its potential. Just 1 milligram could power a spacecraft all the way to Mars, and a single kilogram would unleash an explosion thousands of times stronger than the one in Hiroshima. Even a gram of this material would match the destructive power of a nuclear bomb. But with our current technology, we can't produce it. Imagine needing 1 billion times more energy than the amount inside it just to create a single gram. Even if all the nations of the world combined their resources, paying for that much energy would be impossible. This mysterious material is called antimatter, and if you want to see what it looks like, just search on TikTok, antimatter.